usual, by God's grace, I'm going to show some of the signs from God here. And this is about the 19th Emirp. Emirp is a number which is, if you write it backwards, it's also going to be another prime. Okay, so it's the mirror image of that. So 359 is a prime number, and so is 953. And so I'm going to take all of these here, and then we can go through them line by line here, bullet by bullet. Okay. The 19th Emirp is 359. Okay. This happens to be the 42nd additive prime. 359 also happens to be the 42nd additive prime. And 19 times 42 is 798, and 798 is the frequency of initials in chapter 19 in the whole lot. Okay? And now you see why it's 359 actually. Okay? And how this actually goes back and relates to the whole lot in a minute. So, the Emirp of 359 is 953, which is the 86th additive prime, and 86 is equal to 2 times 43. But the indices of prime 2 and 43 are 1 and 14, and Quran has 114 chapters. Okay? So, God is telling you that, look, I'm talking to you about the Quran. What I'm telling you is 798. I'm talking about 798 is in chapter 19, but I'm talking to you about the Quran, which has 114 chapters. Okay? 953rd composite happens to be 1143, and 1143 is 9 times 127. And chapter 9 has 127 verses. Okay? Let's see what verse 359 says actually. 359 says, surely the example of Jesus as far as God is concerned is the same as Adam. He created him from clay, then said to it, be, and it so, and so it became. Okay? So the word be here, kun fayakun, okay, which means that God said to it be, and it all of a sudden it became. Okay? So there's a process there, and the process is all of a sudden a physical existence manifests. That's how it became. Okay? So this happens to be the 19th mentions of Jesus and Adam from the end of the Quran, and Niaz Aziz actually informed us this a while back. Okay? So this happens to be the 7th one from the beginning of the Quran, 7th mention of these two names, but it happens to be the 19th from the back of the Quran, because there's only 225 times that these two words have been mentioned in the Quran. Okay? So, but the 19th frequency of these two names are in chapter 19, both of them. Okay? So you see how God is actually doing this. Okay? And there are other things with this verse that we haven't even said anything about. And I just want to go there because I've talked about it before, and you may have forgotten, but I just want to remind you quickly. I go there to the Quran and I go to 359. There it is. And here you see that, and then, again, surely the example of Jesus as far as God is concerned is the same as Adam. He created him from clay, then said to it, be, and it so it became. And so here we have this, there are other things in here too, okay, as you see this previous word God here happens to be 341st from the beginning of the Quran. And 341 is actually 11 times 31, and 1131 is the index of 9127. Okay, so that's the first thing you see. 209 is actually the number of Ain Simulaf in chapter 42. Now you see, 19 and 42, they come together. Because remember now, 19 times 42 is 798, which is the number of initials in chapter 19. Okay? So, Ain Simulaf in chapter, but 339 happens to be the index of composite 422. And chapter 42:2 is actually when 8 single actually is mentioned. So you see that? You see the sophistication of this? This is absolutely amazing. Okay? So when you see the word God in there, and now 211, what is 211? 211 happens to be a prime number, its index is 47. Well, what's chapter 47 in all? It's called Muhammad. And he's the one who narrated this from God was Muhammad. Okay? And he told the true story about Jesus and Adam. Because it came from God. It didn't come from man or man's narration or whatever. This came directly from God. Okay? So that's why you see these things. Now this sort of greenish blue, if you go back and see what it is, okay, it tells you what that is, what frequency it is. The grayish blue is frequency of the word God in initial surahs, sequential verse with the word God initial surahs. Okay, that's what that is. Okay. One is the sequential verse with the word God in the initial surahs, frequency of the word God in the initial surahs. Okay. So that's what those numbers are. Those numbers are all directed by God, and this is how Quran is put together. Okay? So what is this telling us? Question you have to ask yourself, okay, instead of having doubts about this, is it really bad? Is it that bad? Is it saying something that God didn't do this? What's the animosity towards this? You have to understand that. What's the doubt? Okay. And those things are also available on the web. You can check it for yourself. Okay, as I said, Emirp and the other ones, I didn't do it. They're already on the web. Okay? They're all on the web. I didn't write the program. Somebody else did. Get Emirp. How many here, somebody made a table for it? I didn't do it, but I did. And you go to 359. Nineteenth Emirp is 359. I did this right in front of you. Okay? As I said, I didn't do it. Somebody else did it. You know, you do the same thing with additive primes. Find out what the additive primes are. Just put in your Google search box, say additive primes, it goes there, and it has a table just like this. You can click on those numbers, and it gives you what it is. 19th Emirp is 359. Okay. It just happens that those two names that are mentioned in that verse happen to be the position 19 from the back of the Quran. Okay? And somehow God didn't know this. This is just an accident. That's how they try to portray this. This is not significant. This is just an accident. Okay, a coincidence. It is not. Okay. They have to produce very specific numbers. And they do. Okay? Alright, well, enough said. I'm going to stop here and we'll